Now it's hot. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Joining us tonight live at the Los Angeles Poet Society live Instagram. It's my takeover. My takeover. It's the inspiration takeover. And we are talking about mental health. I know, right? The show's awkward because there's 3 of us, but let's go with it, okay? Let's groove. Let's have a good time. It's Friday. Y'all got out of work. You guys are all at work.
Yeah, we're about to hit you up with some serious talk.
Oh, wow. But yes, and it's going to be awesome because it's something that we've all been hearing about and vibing about. So I'm giving y'all time to, like, join us. You know, giving you guys a few minutes to, like, vibe with us. And as soon as y'all start coming in, I'm going to go ahead and introduce these 2 lovely ladies because I'm not 100% sure if you guys read who I was going to be interviewing today or not. But today, we are talking inspiration, mental health talk. And we have Miss Christine Ortiz. Oh my goodness, you're... Castillo. Sorry.
Okay.
Christine Ortiz Castillo. Now, and we have Yvonne Almanza Rodriguez, both here with me today. Now, I have a really hard time with your guys' names, and why I'm stumbling is because I've known Miss Christine since she was 12 years old. So I know you as Christine Ortiz. That's like your family name from Baldwin Park. So, yay. And Yvonne is Yvonne Almanza because, hello, she's my sister. So I've kind of known her whole life. So it's like, I'm like, Almanza Rodriguez. So that's the, you know, that's the whole hesitation. So what we're talking about tonight, is we're talking, again, mental health talk. We're talking about 3 things: molestation, the Latino community, and mental health. And like Yvonne said, she's like, oh my God, hi, happy Friday. Now we're doing something really tough. But here's the thing, like, we've all been talking about this. And again, the conversation is so much better before you guys got here because we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this. There's a serious problem within our community when it comes to molestation, how our patriarchal Latino community reacts, and how our families react towards even trying to get mental health. So we're going to talk about, you know, the stigmas of molestation within the Latino community and the stigmas of trying to get mental health. Now, why do we want to talk about this? We're all just coming out of a pandemic, so this affects our inspiration. This affects our work. This influences our work too. So it's not all exactly negative. Like in my past 2 interviews that I've had with Vani and with Lupe, they have used the pandemic as a fuel to move forward. And I'm not even going to spill anybody's business, but Ms. Vani's Tsunami not only has a show this weekend with Goth Girl Summer, but she booked something else for Pomona Art Walk, and I'm really proud of her. And again, this is because of community and us working together as a collective. So this is why this is so important. And with Miss Yvonne, I'm going to call them Miss Yvonne. I'm trying to be so extra. But Yvonne, she is my sister. But what is she doing here? What does this have anything to do with? Let me tell y'all, I wrote a book called Fiona. And the purpose of my writing, and I know that a lot of you guys have this ideology also when it comes to your writing, because I talked to Lupe yesterday and this is what she told me. But okay, here it is. My lovely assistant Jalen, who's working in the background. Yay, Jalen, thank you for being our assistant today. She gave me Fiona. So this book is based on my sister Yvonne, and Yvonne is a solar farm designer. She wants to run the world on solar energy. Solar energy is a much cleaner and easier solution to creating and generating green energy. Politicians have stalled the growth of the industry. Fiona is a vigilante. She has a mission. She wants to close down all the nuclear power plants and have the entire planet run on solar energy. She is fighting corruption from the inside. Fiona is a strong powerful female. I hope she inspires little girls and boys to educate themselves and be a part of the solution. Let's use technology to build ecologically safe solutions that help build communities. So Yvonne, my sister, inspired me because, hi, she's an engineer. And number two, and I know it's kind of hard for you, but you are a Mexican-American girl who is woman. I'm sorry, I use girl because I'm like, but they're, appropriately, these are women because y'all are, even though you guys look like girls, y'all are grown women with 2 children, husbands, and a career. I'm sorry. Husband, ex-husband, and careers.
Yeah.
You have been in the industry that you have been in. You have dealt with the patriarchy and how it affects your self-esteem and your mental health. Like, I remember, and this is one of the reasons why Fiona was so inspirational for me, is when after you had your children, your company could not be any less supportive of you.
And it's funny because the person who runs the company is female owned. That's something that they really push, is that it's a female owned company. And when I was there, I mean, it just feels like the good old boys club. And it is really masked behind, there's newer engineers coming in and they still have these beliefs that are underlying, because once you get a certain group together, they tend to kind of collect between each other. The guys start to really bond with each other, and if you're not okay with that, then you get pushed out. If you're not okay with the dick talk, if you're not okay with, getting, having that talk in front of all of your male coworkers, being okay with it, or even just losing, like, this is something that happened, and I know that it's happened to many women in the industry, not just in my company. I just thought it was very hypocritical that my company just really was, in all of their marketing, they say that they're female owned, that they give female opportunities, and they do give female opportunities as long as you don't have children, because as soon as you have children in any industry, but in the industry when there's like 10 guys or very ambitious women, because there's a lot of ambitious women engineers in this industry that are ready to just take their place. And there was, somebody I trained took my place and was my, he was my manager in the end. He got the promotions, and that is, that's the name of the game.
And the pay raises, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
And the pay raises, I still don't get paid the same as my counterparts because, and part of me being a mother, and it's almost seen as a burden, being a mother to autistic children, my job is no longer my priority. My children are my priority. And when any company claims that they're for the family, for, giving you that time to take care of that, that's not something that's really practiced. That's really great marketing team that, pushes that forward and tries to get that company to, and try to get, those strong women engineers so they could say, hey, look at our numbers. We have this many women employed within us, but those opportunities are few and far between for those women. And when you play that game, the women that do get ahead are the ones that don't have children or have, leave their almost. And that's that mother's guilt. I don't want to put that on any mom, but I know that they feel like they have to almost abandon their children and their motherly needs to kind of move ahead. And that kind of did feed a lot into. There's a lot of factors that feed into, dissolutions of marriages. But that was one thing that really just kind of pushed that over, is because I was really focused on that, and that's not something that's not okay in that traditional sense. It's not okay for me to be that ambitious. I must have, been cheating or whatnot. So, and that's something, if you have to always balance it, because if you're too much or too little, then you're either a bitch or you're just too weak and everybody stomps all over you. And or they even see that, men do take that, anybody does, but I feel like when I was going through that problem in my job and with kids and the divorce and all of that, when I really needed them, they're not there. You know, and then the ones that, it's almost like sometimes, what are they called? Guys that just know people's narcissists, they know people's weaknesses, and they know who to pick, they know who to fire, and they know how to really just manipulate that to their advantage. And I think a lot of women and mothers and even fathers who, because I saw men who are fathers who wanted to be dedicated fathers that got overlooked, that got, you know, that didn't, because they didn't play the game, they didn't get promoted. And there are really good men out there who want to be supportive of their families and their wives, you know, because I know the engineer that I'm really specifically thinking about, he was very supportive with his family, and that's where he, you know, nothing could get him down. His happiness came from his family, and it didn't matter what your job gives you. Like, if your priority list is your family, you know, money doesn't mean anything. It's about how much time you invest in your children, and I don't think anybody should be pushed away from that decision. You know, either or. If you decide to be going towards your career, you know, you should be, and we should empower each other to do that. And as a community, you know, we should uplift each other as well, not just say, hey, go girl, and then like, all right, I'll see you later, bye, you know, call me when the next party's up, you know. And that's something that I think that's where you find a lot of people that are, whether they are meant to be your family, and whether you really leave those toxic people behind. Because when it's funny, because when the haters start really coming out, and they start creating drama, that when you step back, you realize it has nothing to do with you. Right. It has everything to do with them, and they just don't like the mirror that you're holding up to them. Because when they have to look at what you're doing, because, you know, and everybody has their whys, you know, their ambitions. And one of the things that I really feel is, like, the thing that my father really instilled in me is honesty. You have to be honest and true to your word. If you don't have your honesty and your, you know, if you don't have that, you don't have anything. Like, you need to stay committed to what you set your mind to. And if it changes, it changes, but at least you know you're trying to. And I think that people just need to really practice that, not just say it. Because it's really hard to practice. I'm not saying it's easy, because I think if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But it's really hard to kind of, like, even sometimes I hated the manager that got promoted ahead of me. I hated him for a while. And I had to really step back and realize, what does that say about me? Like, what does that say? Am I really happy doing this? Is it worth it to me to be in this? Because, you know, I went from residential solar to utility scale solar. Utility scale solar is really intense. You know, it's huge, like millions of dollars that you're having to really understand. Like, you're having to answer to people because they're giving you these millions of dollars, and you need to tell them, are these risks worth it or not? You know, because they're going to be, you know, in the 20-year long run, having to put money into it. And some people are not into the solar. I mean, that's another talk. Like, who's really behind the solar industry, and are they really there to promote the greenness of it, or are they just really, you know, just another money-making scam for them? They'll buy it and then they'll sell it off. Yeah, they're in it for 5 years. When the inventory gets old, and then they sell it off to somebody else, and then it gets watered down over time. And that's not something that when you devalue solar, it just doesn't become something that you want to invest in for 20 years. And then short-term stuff, just, it's like you're creating almost like short-term kids. You're not dedicating any time to it, and it just like almost is just indicative of our society. Our attention span is so small that if it's not important to me, if I don't care, like, I'm checked out.
We have 30 seconds to do a video, and that's it.
Even with kids, and you really, this is just what educators have told me, that you really have to grab kids' attention because they got so much information going to them. There's so many things that they would rather invest their time in than you. And I mean, look at our education industry. Do you really do you really blame them that they're kind of like whatever about it? I wouldn't be either. If I was growing up at this time, I wouldn't really be listening to my teachers either. I would be really trying to surpass it, but they don't have that guidance from anybody to do that.
That's right.
I don't think that even our educational system can evolve as fast as our minds do. And that's something that, I mean, the dumb politicians in Washington, because they're trying to sell you a product, which is, oh yeah, we're here for you, but we're not really giving you we're not giving you what you really need.
So,
just we're going kind of away from
break
the
down,
topic.
like, this is why Yvonne is a super nerd, because she knows so much. And here's the positive about what you do is because you have so much experience in the field, you were a great mentor for other women trying to break into that field. So if you guys are women in engineering or other women that need this empowerment that she's talking about, I want you guys to reach out and let her know. But I also want to know, Christine, what are your challenges? Because Yvonne spoke about motherhood and how choosing your family, because again, when we were speaking about what inspires you, because that's what the theme was, everyone said their family inspires them. But Yvonne's bringing up the fact that if you are dedicated to your family, then say goodbye to your career.
Exactly.
So what are your experiences in that, Christine?
Definitely. I mean, I want to start off by just saying, and I think there's probably going to be a lot of people out there too, moms, like how we were hit, with the pandemic and how devastating. I had a colleague come to me not that long ago, and she was totally stressed out, and I was just like, I sat with her, and she's just, we're trying to think about like juggling, as a full-time, mom. It never stops, right? And full-time worker, wife. I mean, we're constantly like back and forth doing all these things, juggling all these roles, right? We're just like everywhere. And so why is it that we weren't given anything? It's kind of like, I think what happens, and I don't know if, I think, and maybe we could share that, like in the Latino culture, how everything's kind of just like, oh, it's like, it is what it is, just keep moving on,
just
right?
Just accept it.
Just keep going.
Push through.
Yeah, just push through.
Be quiet. We don't want to hear about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think with that in mind, and I think it happens throughout, like, everywhere, really, but I think that's something that we really have to get away from and really start building these communities, like you were saying, Gloria, and just, like, validating women and seeing what their struggles are, and mamas. Because the mamas got hit hard. I mean, really hard. And again, I don't know. I think I was reading an article, but I forgot exactly how many women lost their jobs due to the pandemic. Because again, they were at that stretch. Like, okay, do I just give up my job? I mean, my kids need me. They have to go remote learning, right? And so a lot of that was happening. And I work with young kids, so a lot of lack of motivation, and rightfully so. I mean, we're dealing with emotional breakdowns. I mean, I even have a daughter who, every once in a while has these little emotional breakdowns, and, I got to be there, and rightfully so. I love it, but
that's your family.
I'm also drained out,
Yeah, you're having that. You're like almost having an emotional breakdown, and you're trying to comfort somebody that's also having an emotional breakdown.
Right, and so, like, I come back from work, and again, that's my role, and I love it, but hello, I need some breathing air, and is anyone helping me out, and so that's why it's also important. I mean, I don't know if, we go to that topic, but just self-love and self-care, how important that is. If we don't have that, we're going to go down with everyone, and so I think that's what me and my colleague were saying, how much we need that support, how much we need to put ourselves first, even though that's something we're not told, right? We're like, just keep going.
Because you're moms.
Exactly. But then if you look at the research, what's high right now? Anxiety, depression, and
mental
suicide.
health.
Yes. And so I just think, like, we just need to have, these platicas.
Yes.
Like, we need to really, like, talk about this, because I've been feeling this since the pandemic hit. Like, we really just need to have this conversation started and just really, like, dig deep, though, because I know that sometimes as women too, we keep things and we're like, oh, we don't talk about them, or like I have, or they just say, oh, I'm okay. I met many women that are in the same thing. Oh, I'm okay, but I'm like, no, I could tell that you're not okay, and it's okay.
Because you can feel their aura. I can
feel
read
it.
Right.
So
I really believe in sticking to, like, a a topic. However, I believe more in something developing organically. So I kind of want to refocus our topic right now. And so I want to continue this talk about moms dealing with the pandemic, dealing with the children and our careers. And I also want to talk about what are the facilitators to that, and what are the what conflicts or the struggles. Okay, so because one of the things that you two both have in common, and a lot of you guys out there in the Poet Society, because guess what? We're writers, but that doesn't pay all the bills. A lot of us are educators. How many of you guys out there in the Los Angeles Poet Society are educators, teachers, social workers? You work in engineering, you work in tech, you work in Irvine, you work in downtown LA, you are driving, and now there is more traffic. So now you guys are dealing with so much more. So let's focus on motherhood, the pandemic, and dealing with that. So let's go ahead and start with Christine. What are the things that you've seen in your workplace, or that you've seen dealing with the pandemic and mommyhood and dealing with that?
I mean, I think what's key is really just listening. I mean, I think in our society we're just quick to do things so fast. We're like what they call autopilot. You're just like a robot, and you're going from 1 to 10 and not really taking a step back. And I think, again, easier said than done, right, guys? But it's really critical that we form, like I said, these communities, or like maybe create more groups where we feel validated, where we feel like we have a safe space. And I think, that's what's worked for me. I was grateful that I have a great mentor, a couple, and even then just meeting you, Gloria, and not meeting but reconnecting, because I've known you
since you were 12 years old, girl.
Yes.
If you were 12, I was like 17. Yeah, because we've known each other since elementary. We're not gonna go back down memory road, because y'all are like whatever, but I've known her since I was, you went to St. John's in 2nd grade with Yvonne.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And at that time, I was 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I was in 6th grade. So that's a long time, but go ahead. Keep going.
So, I mean, I think, like I said, it really has to do with creating these support groups. And, I am trying to work on one right now. It's just been hard, with work and with my children, but I definitely
have mentors. You
were
saying
I have
you have mentors,
and I'm working on it. And
how do your mentors help you? How have they facilitated your ability to deal with your mental health and the pandemic? I think that's what we can take a bite on what you learned.
Yes. So my bite would be that I feel like the confidence. Like, I think also in the Latino community growing up, and I don't know if that's the same experience with you girls, but I feel like sometimes if we're growing up with moms that are a little bit maybe critical, or very talking about our body, or like what we're wearing, very there you go, you hit it. So I think that alone is why it's important if you have access to mental health. I think therapy, I'm a big advocate of mental health. I mean, I work in mental health, but having a therapist is beautiful, because you feel validated, and I think that's the stigma right now with Latinos, and just in general, right? I think, but more so for us, because we're always told, just push it through, you'll be fine, or esos para locos, remember?
Yes.
We were talking about that. And so I think we really have to get away from that and just really be in tune with what someone really has to say. Give them that safe space, but again, it's up to you also. You have to do the work first, right? And so, because if you're no good, if mama's not good, the children can't be good, right?
Preach, girl. Preach.
And so that's key. Mama's really the one who's holding everything up, right? I'm not saying that dads don't get me wrong. No. I love my husband to death, but I
love men. We all love men, okay, guys?
Yes, we do. We love men, but I think...
And every relationship that y'all want to be in.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
We're all inclusive up in here.
Very inclusive, yes. And so, what I mean is just we just all have to love each other, guys. I don't know how more to say, but it starts with us. Self-love, it's within, and it takes work. Because I remember not being there, and my mentors just go for it, and I'm just what do you mean? Go for it. That's scary, when you've been told in your life, I don't know, just you didn't get that support, in the sense where, again, it wasn't not love, it was just I think in a lot of Latino families, it wasn't like said. Words weren't spoken. And so sometimes they were just like, okay, do you guys know what I'm saying? So it's like, and again, everyone's different, but I think that could be part of it. And just like I said, that stigma around mental health and how, oh no, I'm not crazy, right? And you know, oh yeah, and then also, and we could go forever on this, but even the whole concept of chisme.
Oh, girl. So these are going to probably be
That would be
barriers.
a different one, yeah.
No, but this is good. And Yvonne can
And
bring up
especially
with the
when you're
barriers.
Because at
yeah.
home, chisme is amazing. Like it like relives your life.
Going
but then you have to
through a
look-
bad divorce,
and
bad
kinda look at
relationships.
how,
bad
But-
breakups in the pandemic,
Yeah.
our kids acting up. So,
But
you
yeah,
know, Lupita's going to tell Maria that, you know, you had a hard time and your kids, she heard them yelling out the door. And so, yeah, those are barriers.
Barriers, because guess what, guys? As much as we grew up and maybe at one point we were in on that, no good. Because guess what? I also
You
believe
kinda
in
look at yourself.
yes,
too.
and then the bad energy. I mean, it goes back to you, I believe. So, you know what I mean? Let's get away from that. Let's uplift each other, guys. Like I'm all for this woman commune, right? I remember we were talking about that.
Yeah, because during the pandemic, there was women that were working that couldn't do it. They couldn't do it without help.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, they were locked up in a space that it was harder for it to reach out. And so,
Exactly.
and we're very creative in this community, and we all figure out a way to like, you know, we do so much for our kids, you know, for our own survival even. And, you know, there's a lot of women that have created a community with themselves, try to combat like a lot of issues that their kids were having, like just even doing some sort of play dates in the park. And really
Facilitators.
just facilitating
What
each
other
other.
facilitators do you see? Because that's a good one. I want to make a bookmark. That another facilitator is, like Yvonne is saying, groups. So can you please expand on what groups you yourself have experienced and what help you've seen with that, Yvonne? That's a
So,
great
well, let's
one.
just go back to like the pandemic and what I learned from it. And that goes into what I'm speaking of is, well, one thing is to not really give a fuck about what people say. Like, oh, yeah, go ahead. It's almost like Cater's gonna hate. Go ahead and cheese me out about me. Like, you just are jealous because I'm giving you stuff to talk about because you have no life type of thing. Like, you can't care if this looks bad for this person and that because, you know, coming from somebody that had an overly critical mother, you, after a while, you just got to shut that valve down because you're not, you know, you're experimenting just like everybody else. And, you know, and I think that's something that connected with a lot of, you know, my kids are autistic. Well, I just found out one. The other one was just, what is it? She just had the diagnosis and went through the IEP. And sitting down and talking to, she's in the spectrum. But, you know, speaking with a lot of the kids' moms in my son's grade, I realized that we were all having the same fears. It was, we were all wondering what the heck was going to happen with our kids next year.
Right.
And even in the pandemic, they had a hard time dealing. All the kids had a hard time dealing with it, and it was really scary. But at the same time, your kids are looking for you and see how you're reacting. Because if you're not reacting okay, then they're gonna be scared. They're just gonna mimic what you're doing and how you deal with it. So if you want to tell your kid, "Hey, calm down, stop worrying," you got to stop. You got to tell you yourself. You need to know how to calm down. You need to know how to stop worrying, and you need to also know how to reach out. And that's something that, like I said, it's so hard for me to reach out to anybody because I'm supposed to be perfect, right?
Right.
Oh, girl. So your ego would be
of course, and
a
that's
detriment.
where you can't. I have to tell
barrier.
myself I cannot care if this hurts my ego, no matter how much this is embarrassing to me. I need to reach out for help because there were so many moments within this whole COVID panic where, you know, unfortunately, and I know a lot of people out there know, my mom passed away. And I had to reach out. I had to, because I didn't have mental health for a couple months, you know, and this was really devastating. And in the end, I have to be okay with not being strong. And that's really what it is. Like, it's okay for me not to be that strong, independent woman all the time either.
It's okay, guys.
It's okay to be
you
like,
cry,
you know what?
You can cry.
I can
Está bien llorar.
Sí,
Yeah.
podemos llorar, yeah.
Podemos llorar.
And that was something that was like, whatever, like, you know, I couldn't cry because I was always, it's such a weakness, especially like if you're crying because of whatever, A, B, and C. Like, I had postpartum depression at work, and I couldn't talk about it, much
That's
less
right.
cry. Like, I couldn't own who I was. And it's really hard to kind of like say, you can't own who you are, but get over it.
Right.
You're asking two different things.
And, you know,
And I think that was with COVID too. Like, we had to listen to our kids.
Exactly.
They had to, like, we had to see, like, they're telling us, I'm not okay right now, Mom. I'm not okay right now. And I think a lot of us brush that off because we have so much stuff that we need to deal with. But part of that whole 30-second, you know, social society that we're creating for ourselves, we really have to take that 31 seconds and stop and listen to our kids.
Exactly. We need
Or ourselves. Or that, like,
Yeah.
like, you know, that little voice in you telling you, like, even with,
Something's
like I
not-
said, my career, I saw how much it was destroying everything that I love. And it's like, I just can't stop and say, is this worth it?
Exactly.
Is this industry even worth it? Because in the end, a really great friend of mine in Tribune told me, oh, sorry, names.
No, it's okay. Shout out to
It's,
Tribune.
Tribune newspapers. They're not
This
dying,
is-
right?
No, they
Anyway.
didn't.
Excuse me, that's not sarcasm. So she told me, how long does a job give you? How much notice does a job give you to find another job to fire you? 0. So why are you giving these people so much of your time and love? They don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Some jobs don't deserve it. Like,
Your
Jeff
loyalty.
Bezos does not deserve any more of your money. You deserve it. Your kids deserve it. Your
Preach it.
community around you deserves it.
Exactly.
I think that's something that's been really hard between me and her. We live so far away.
Yeah.
You know, I live in Orange County. She lives here in LA County, and
How long
We
did you
had
ladies
the-
know each other?
second grade.
Second grade.
Okay, so let's can we calculate years, or you guys
Eight, she
refuse
was
to?
8. We were 8 years old. Yeah, and so now I'm 40
Uh,
something.
Well, you don't know.
So I know. I am
No,
definitely
I'm
at
just
least
kidding.
10
for sure
years.
20 years.
10 years.
10 years. 10 years. But yeah, no. And you want to continue that community in other places, and
Exactly.
unfortunately, as much as I want to help her pick up her kids from school, I can't. I have to be open to taking that community that I create myself and, you know, transpose it somewhere else, and be okay with that, and not be afraid of the, you know, racist people that live around me, because sometimes they're just racist because they don't know any better. And you have to be like, own yourself and know who you are to confront that person that's just probably just ignorant.
Exactly.
And you just need to, like, again, who cares? Que se vaya la chingada. Who cares about them? It's about you. It's about your needs. It's about your family and how are you going to survive. It's about your family, you know, and, you know, there's just a lot of tragedy that has hit all of us. And I think that's another huge part, is that we need to take care of our own and the people that love us and the people that are going to be here with the rest of us for the rest of our lives. Wherever that ends, you know. But our family is going to be there, not our boss. Our boss is never going to come to our funeral. Our, you know, our.
Well, mine might.
Oh,
You know what?
everyone
If you
but
have
Christine.
that kind of boss,
Yes.
Well,
then
how about
Yeah.
a therapist? She'll be in trouble.
But you know, and there's bosses like that.
Yes,
you
there
will
is.
That you will
No,
go
I
from
know.
the job and you will love that person. Like, they treat you like
Yeah.
family. And those are the kind of people that do inspire me. That kind of led me to this point where
Right.
I was so like, no, don't talk to me. Like, I have too many things for, you know, that you don't understand. But you know, then they've created families without that bloodline ties. And sometimes when we're, you know, I know we haven't touched about molestation, but you
Oh, we're
realize
gonna do that in the next one. It's
you
okay.
realize
Yeah.
that blood sometimes you cared more about than the person that crossed that boundary and then wants you to shut up about it because they're uncomfortable, because
Exactly.
they don't want to talk. They don't want to deal with the fact that they're a pedophile or there's a pedophile in the family. Yeah, no one wants to talk about that, but they did something. They crossed the line, and I don't care whose deal you are. You're not. It's not okay. Just like in the Catholic Church, how it's not okay for all of those priests to be moved from, you know, parish to parish. It is not okay for our deal to be just taken out to another family so we can touch somebody else's kid.
Amen.
You know, and that's part
Yeah.
of, like,
We need to hold them accountable.
We need to hold people accountable.
Accountability.
It's time, girls. We gotta
It's
hold
not
them.
just.
Where are you girls at? Come on, we need to get together.
It's not just calling them boomers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, boomers is
Yeah.
really cute, except
Yeah.
not. It's not cute when it's a pedophile. You know, it's not a cute when
You don't know.
the 20-year-old is dating a 16-year-old and they make it okay by marrying them. No, you're not. It's not okay to marry your pedophile. It's not okay. And the fact that we have, as a patriarchal society, have made it okay, like, okay, because that woman is filthy and probably really wanted it, you know, she's too loose.
Was
She's
she
a loose
asking
girl, you know.
for
Or what
it?
she was wearing, like, what's going on with
Did
that guy?
she ask you nice?
But that kind of goes, I mean, I know that goes away from our little COVID talk and what we learned, but that's kind of, you know, I know a lot of us have seen that whole, a number of abuse that have increased in our families
During the
during the
pandemic, especially.
and I just, you know, you can't do anything about everybody. You just need to know and own who you are and know what you can and can't accept, and not be quiet. Like like fuck politeness. That's part of one of my murder
Yeah.
podcasts. Fuck politeness.
Yes.
You need to speak out, and who cares who you hurt?
If you're being a creep,
If
I'm
you pass that
you.
boundary,
Yeah.
then you shouldn't have done it to begin with.
Yes.
Like, and we can't shut up anymore. We can't just
Nope.
be strong survivors going out, but then letting our deal touch your, you know, touch some kid and not saying
Another
anything.
kid.
Another kid, or, you know, making it okay for us to make fun of our kind of hoish cousin, not realizing that she has serious issues, and that's why she's
Or
dressing
body
like that.
dysmorphia.
Or she's having body dysmorphia issues, or maybe like whatever, or maybe she just wants to dress like that. Why are you looking,
Exactly.
Theo, why are you looking at your 14-year-old, you know, niece?
Amen. And even the woman, right? We need
Yeah,
to
like
start
that's
holding
part of
them.
that negative cheeseman, that
Yeah.
negative talk that we need to stop within ourselves, because it's not okay for us to keep calling each other hoes and sluts and bitches and, you know,
Slut shaming.
and slut shaming each
Some
other.
of us are thick with thick legs and thick hips, and that's
some of
hereditary.
And some of us are not okay with being too into our sexuality and not bearing
Modesty.
it on. They
Yes.
are okay with being modest, and we have to respect each other and what we do. You know, and
That's
doesn't-
another facilitator. Respect,
respecting
girl.
each other.
Mhm.
Because
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. That's it. Copyright. Copyright.
Yeah, that's all we can talk.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, no, respecting each other, respecting where each of us are at in our place, because you may be what you think may be woke, but that other person is not ready to go there.
Super woke.
And then you have to be okay. Like, that's part of like understanding people's limitations.
Exactly.
You know, that mental health part where
Accepting people where they're coming
where
from.
they're coming
Right.
from, where they're at in their journey, and not judging people for where they're at. You know, there's something, and I think for a long time I did kind of look down a lot on women that had kids when they were 18 years old, not really understanding the why.
Me?
Yeah.
Not you. Everyone.
Everyone but you. No, and by the way, you know, she did have her kids young, and I think that really, I would
One
really
of them.
say, except Christine.
Yeah.
And I would
Oh,
be like, yeah. But then there's something wrong with that, though.
Wait,
Why
pause.
can't-
Because
I'm a
Miss
statistic.
Christine went to college, finished her education, used her her family as support so she can level
was
up,
able to.
and now she's an example, and that's why she's sitting on this couch. That's why it's not Christine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But then, like, I'll have family members who that's how they found their way out of their bad family structure. And
That's how they could get out of their
that's how
houses.
they can get out of their abuse.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna, or for whatever reason, they decided to have their children early. It's not for me to judge them. It's not for me to tell them what they should or should not be doing with their lives.
Exactly.
Again, then I'll deserve it, la chingada, Yvonne, because it's none of your fucking business. And
Facts.
you know, and like I said, and, you know, I think I'm sure if that person listening, she knows that I had I didn't have an altercation, but I gave somebody unwanted advice, which I thought, you know, at the time, it was something that she needed to hear. She wasn't ready to hear, and in fact took it as a criticism. It wasn't my intent, obviously, and I can't go there with that person, but at the same time, I have to be open to have that person I did kind of leave myself open to that, but it's just, I kind of sat back and just said, that's just a reflection on how she's taking it, because if she's so secure in her life, then she wouldn't be reacting this way.
Facts.
But
you hit a nerve.
I hit a nerve. But again, it's not for me to put somebody on that journey. I can't be Lord and Savior. I can't be judge and jury, right? I have to let people live their lives. And if I give unwanted advice, then I leave myself open to have that criticism given back to me. And that's okay. If you want to criticize, we can have that topic, or I can say, see you later, thank you. Or if you don't agree and you know how to, like, that's another thing is, like, my sister keeps talking about delivery with me. And I'm very open about how I am and what I think. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to think that way. That's just my position. That's my perspective.
Yeah.
And again, everybody has a different life, lived a different life, and has gotten to this point some way. And I can't diminish your journey, and you know, I don't expect that, you know, for you to diminish mine.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
No, because I know you go through, so you meet so many people too.
Yeah, well, because I think what it is, and it's not easy, guys. It's not, but like we really have to approach this middle ground where we're able to, like, I think what happens, like, for instance, like with that case is like, case.
And it's a great example of a barrier
exactly.
and how she overcame it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Yvonne, because again, that's a beautiful example. Go ahead, Christine.
No, and so I'm thinking, like, you know, maybe later too, you know, I don't know if you felt like one of you two can, like, kind of just, oh, hey, you know, reflect back later, you know, have a cooling off that happens, right? Like with even disagreements, right? Everybody at home gets into fights. I'm sorry, I don't know who's out there saying they're
nobody's perfect
and they have this perfect marriage, but it's not true. I'm sorry. But you're gonna have some disagreements, and when those things happen, it's really important that we meet somewhere in the middle, right? Whether that be you take some cooling off time, right? Like, you know, with a friend too, sometimes there's misinterpretations, right?
Yes.
And that's happened to me too. And so, so for me, as you know, I'm trying to be a better person. I will ask, you know, oh, you know, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't say that right, or, you know, try to, you know, if I'm feeling like I did, and again, I'm not sure, maybe I'm not, when it really isn't, it's rude, obviously I'm not going to go back, but I'm really trying to listen, because there might have been a misinterpretation.
Listening.
Yeah, there's miscommunication. Sometimes I'll say something and the reaction I get is not warranted for what I just said. It's like, wait, hold on. Like, what did you hear? Because, like, just say that. What did you hear? Because maybe
that's
your
a
intent,
very
and
good
not force your intent. It's like, well, I meant this, so sorry if you got butt hurt. Like, no. Really recognize what other people are feeling, because that's part of mental health.
Yes.
It's really... It's not dismissing who you are. No. It's just listening to the other person's perspective. Right. And, you know, that's really important when really people are going through a really hard time in their lives.
All of us are going through a really hard time right now.
Like, that's almost, I think it's like almost every day sometimes. It doesn't stop.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is the new normal, just constant panic sometimes. Just because you're just, you know, you're going through something, or things are constantly changing, or the goal is constantly changing, which, like, that's part of growth, right? You're not if something never changes for you, then you're not growing. You know, you're not really fighting against something that's pushing you down. You're just maybe, and sometimes you kind of just need to let, you know,
feel uncomfortable,
or your body's really resisting, which that's something that I realized, like, oh, why is my body resisting this so much? It's because I was sick. Like, I was physically sick, and I wasn't giving myself enough time to sleep or
self-love,
rest, or self-love. And I was making fun of artists that would have to, like, go to the hospitals for dehydration or whatnot. And now I realize it's because they're, like, machines. Like, they're being told, do this, do this, do this, do this. And that is the consequences of you not treating yourself with care, treating yourself with love, and then, you know,
using drugs, alcohol to cope.
Yeah, because it's easy to cope with alcohol and drugs, but when you just ignore what you're doing, and you rather just, you know, go to the bottle, or go to the bong, or just go to your room and just ignore everything, put on the headphones. It's part of that headphones, but after a while, you got to take off those headphones and go back to reality.
Exactly.
You know, you can enjoy it, but eventually you can only ignore stuff so much. Exactly. And sometimes they just get bigger and bigger.
If not, it shows up in, you know, what,
or in your relationships, and how you treat people, and how people treat you.
Facts.
Like, you just have to be really self-reflective, not care about how this makes you look or this makes that makes you look. The ego. You know, really reach out to people that maybe you didn't think that you would.
Exactly.
And see.
Those are other facilitators. That's great.
Yeah. A lot of people
that you didn't think you could reach out to. Thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah, a lot of people that I didn't think would be there for me were there for me, and a lot of people that I thought would be there for me were gone. Like, smoke. Like, they were dealing with their own thing. But
reach out, yes.
Even it's scary, but you still need to reach out. You still, you know, I know you're afraid of rejection, afraid of being told no, but you know, it's okay to say no. Sometimes, again, it's not a reflection on you. It's where they're at, and sometimes they're not. It's better for them to tell you that they can't help you, because it's better for them not to help you than to think that you're getting help from them. They were never able to help you to begin with. They just wanted to tell you.
Setting realistic expectations.
Yeah, they're unrealistic, and in the end, you were just wasting a lot of time when you could have dedicated that time to yourself. Yeah. So I know that those are just like false things, false gods that we go to answer these, you know, life things. But you know, in the end, when you're not feeling better, you're wondering why. You have to really look back and say, like, were the obstacles there, or were they ones that I created for myself?
Yes.
Were they ones that, you know, I just used for...
Exactly. And I just wanted to know on that piece, too, with our gente, right? Can we talk a little bit about the Latino community, and how I think also another stigma or something that's a barrier for them would be the way therapy is kind of taught here. I'm not, you know, again, it's just like, I don't think we have a platform for that yet, and I think we need to create something where we're like bringing them in, like food, you know, pláticas, and because I hate to say
feed them and they will come.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that this is gonna be, I think that's the reason why a lot of them don't, because it's not, again, something that we have to kind of find something different. I just don't know exactly right now, but just a different way of approaching them, and I think the same for us too. I think, you know, having this sense, like I said, this community, like, it's just so great, and the support you get, and so thinking about that, and this really breaks my heart to see so many people struggle, and with my gente where you know, they feel like lost, but they can't say it with their words, you know, and it just breaks my heart. So I really want to.
They'd rather just stay strong than feel weak, but in the end, that's what really kills them.
Yeah,
you know, like, that's what they try to drink away or whatnot.
Exactly.
But yeah, we just in the end have to really respect ourselves.
Yeah.
So I want to break in here. I'm so sorry, Christine. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And then I'll break in.
I just lost the thought, so it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and let you do final thoughts. But what I wanted to say before we even go there, because we're not there yet, everybody, I want to first of all thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the Los Angeles Poet Society for this platform. The purpose of us being here, for everyone that joined at this point, and you're like, ¿Quién son? ¿Quién son estas muchachas? ¿Qué está pasando? ¿De qué hablan? So, my name is Gloria. I'm part of Flores Couture, and I am a writer. I also am part of the Los Angeles Poet Society, and I am actually part of their document for the people. My poetry came out featured in here, so please go ahead and support this awesome organization by purchasing this. And they were kind enough to give me this platform where I'm talking about inspiration. Now, because of the pandemic and what's been going on, these lovely ladies and I have been plotting something behind the scenes, which is a mental health podcast. Now, this was our trial, so I want to thank everybody and the Los Angeles Poet Society for joining us in this plática. And the reason that this is so important is there's so many artists and mommies out here in our group that are suffering from what these ladies have been talking about. And we want to create a group. We want to create a support system where we weekly, or we're still working on the details, okay? So you're gonna have to follow me and I'll put everything up. But our goal is to, I want to do it weekly, so I'm gonna speak into existence.
Yes.
Or bi-weekly.
We're manifesting.
Yes, we're manifesting. And these are, what are they? Help you reach success?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, manifesting and speaking it into existence. And I want to be able to reach our community and talk about these things, because the Latino community does not talk about this. This is a huge stigma. If you go see therapy, estás loca. And so you need to go talk to your therapist and keep taking your drugs, porque tú eres una loca. And Pepita over there
need a good, you know, a good slapping her across the face. That's what we're told.
And you know, my mom was told, vete a lavar los trastes, go wash the dishes.
You have nothing better to do.
You have nothing else better to do. You're not feeling pain. You're just bored.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And these are horrible stigmas in our community. So we have 3 talented people. We have Miss Christine Ortiz. Your last name, Castillo. And Miss Yvonne Almonte Rodriguez. Christine Ortiz is an MSW. Yvonne is an engineer. And we are all mental health advocates. My name is Gloria. I am part of Flores Couture. And I am also a mental health advocate and an author. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. If you guys just got here right now, I want to invite you guys to watch it on the replay. You know, follow me on Flores Couture. Join us, DM me, be a part of the conversation. The other thing I want to do is, and I'm sorry guys, again, this is one of our first, this is actually the first time we do this. We have been talking about this, and it's been
Just to add a little bit, I went to your guys' one of the live, open mics for this.
Okay, so she's talking about Amor. She put in a show in Boyle Heights, and the Los Angeles Poet Society was there in Boyle Heights.
There were a lot of great poets. We had an open platform and a lot of strong Hispanic people. I mean, our hands were coming together, and it just really showed what we can do with our creativity. Just even the person that the picture on the cover of the book, there's so much talent in here. Not just, I know my sister, she has to, she's promoting herself. There's so much talent in here.
I'm promoting all the guys in here.
And it's amazing. It is really amazing. We even heard a poet. She brought her children with her.
Oh, that's another lady.
Yeah, she, and I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's name. I'm terrible with them. But there was just a lot of great energy, too. And I think that that's something that we really have to, give a lot of more power to this platform and to, the library that they were creating for this.
Yes.
These people, these women that are creating these publications and giving a voice to it, so that way we can say, hey, take this home. I want you to tell me which one's your favorite one. And that just, something that's modern that speaks to us now. Exactly. That we're all going through, all of our stories. Stories from letters from my exes. There's just so much talent within our community, just within us.
So much.
That it's just, it's amazing to just watch and to just even to contribute to. So,
Millionaire Amor, that is the girl that ran it. Letters to My Exes, Jessica Villegas.
She's
that's the other Jessica. Jessica Wilson is the one from the Los Angeles Poet Society. So we have 2 powerful Jessicas.
Yeah, there's lots of, 2 Jessicas. I know that she worked really hard to create and open this publication. That's what printing press, and it's definitely a labor of love. And we really do need to support each other when we're just bringing life to this. Yes. Bringing life to our goals and our dreams, and be there for each other, and do whatever it takes for each other. And all of that energy that we do for each other, take it within ourselves and try to do it for ourselves as well. Yes. There was something that someone told me, what would you tell that little girl, that you were? How are you going to tell her, to move ahead? What are you going to tell her when she's feeling down and she wants to, she feels bullied? What is your advice to that little girl? How are you going to, and is that something that, do your words carry weight? Can you do that with yourself?
Exactly.
Another shout out, sorry Yvonne. I'm the older sister, and I do this to her, and we're going to talk about this in Latino Stigmas. So, coming soon to a new episode. Sister Stigmas. Okay, so yesterday, and she also was at the Millionaire Amor's event, the pop-up event in Boyle Heights, and she was my guest yesterday. She gave me a book called Chingonas. She is an awesome, powerful writer. And so Lupe Montiel was also at that show. So we have Lupe Montiel, we have Jessica Wilson, and Carol Ska, who put together the Los Angeles Splits for Justice. And we have Miss Jessica Villegas, Millionaire Amor, Letters to My Exes. So please follow and support. And I wanted to say hi to everybody that's here.
The letter would be like, you're lost.
Yeah, pretty much. It is really, if you're feeling like some love loss, if you loved and didn't put your time in the right person, Letters to My Exes is very powerful, and it makes you really empower yourself, makes you feel like que se vaya la chingada, you deserve better. That is why that they're not with you anymore, because you deserve better and you need to move on. I mean, you don't need to. You live how you need to, but eventually you need to know that you're better than this person, and there's better out there for you. You know.
We're not sponsored, by the way. Not sponsored. The views are Yvonne's and Yvonne's alone. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk about marriage in our podcast later, and traditional marriage, and really why is the government so much into
what?
Anyways, but that's a story.
Podcast number 3, guys. You better join.
Money making schemes of our government.
Ooh.
So.
Girl. Okay, so hi to everyone that joined us. Thank you for supporting us. I want to end with final thoughts, because I think final thoughts are so important as a wrap up of all this. So let us start with Miss Christine, and then we'll continue with Yvonne and with me. And before we do that, I'm sorry guys, I want to I have one more day, which is tomorrow, and that's it, you guys. That's it. So thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for LA Poet Society for doing this, allowing me the honor of having your platform. You guys are fantastic. I want to thank you guys. Tomorrow I'm going to be transmitting live from Pomona, because I am from Pomona, and I will be going, and this is going to be posted. This is going to be, I'm going to Serenity Garden with Heavenly, and it's at 936 West 9th Street. I'm going to be transmitting live at about 9 a.m. And we are going to be, she has a growing community, and she uses this to connect humans and earth sciences, knowledge of self and home, earth is home, school. After that, we're going to meet with this guy named Francisco from the Seed Exchange at the Pomona Farmers Market. We have a Pomona Farmers Market every Saturday on Gary and Pearl. Again, this is not sponsored. These are all my favorite things. Now, the Seed Exchange is a wonderful program that is free in Pomona. So what they do is they give you seeds, and you come back with seedlings or whatever. They give you knowledge. Francisco, this was his senior project. He is the most knowledgeable person. Please go visit him. Again, this is part of building the community, and gardening. Eating healthy is a huge part of mental health. Again, podcast number 4. Okay, and after that, I'm going to be doing Goth Girl Summer out in San Bernardino. Please support us. I will be putting information there. And on the first podcast that I did on Tuesday, one of you guys suggested that I do a giveaway. So I will be giving away tomorrow live. No, what am I giving away?
I thought you were going to give away some adult stuff.
No,
so
girl, no.
Well, you are though, right?
Oh, no. We don't talk about that because this is the Los Angeles, allegedly, and this is the Los Angeles podcast. Yeah, if it's my platform, that's okay, but let's pretend that,
Yeah.
So I will be doing a giveaway. These are 2 zines that I published, and I will be selling tomorrow at the Goth Girl Summer. One of them is Maria Felix. If you don't know about her, please know about her and get my book. The other one is Crack Maps, a play on weed maps. You better ask somebody.
You better Google it.
All right, and so then these I'm going to be giving away. How? Follow me on Flores Couture. There's going to be a post with these pictures. Follow me, and I will be picking a winner live tomorrow at Goth Girl. Now, that's it. That's it for announcements. Final thoughts. Now, Miss Christine, go. Final thoughts. Oh, thank you for the love, everyone. This gives her a minute to think. Go ahead.
I know, I just really appreciate this platform. I really enjoyed having this talk with you guys. I would love to do more.
Speak into existence, girl.
Yes. So
join us for the next podcast.
I've been trying to do I'm really bad with apps, guys. Who knows I deal with this stuff? I'm actually at
DM her. And any help with apps, any millennials, please DM your girl.
Yeah,
Wildflower Mama Rising. That's me. I am trying to create my girls, my women, my mamas. I'm trying to lift them up, and I don't know. I'm just trying to start this out. That's why I came with Gloria. And
that's right, girl. We're making this happen.
We're making this happen.
Yes.
And, I love my girls. I just think, like I said, we need that support. We just need it. I've been feeling it the whole year. Beyond that, and it's just time. It's time for us to unite finally, right? Let's get away from all the negativity and just create positivity for once. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Those are awesome final thoughts. Miss Yvonne, final thoughts.
So final thoughts is to fuck everyone. Own your truth. Own who you are. And not be embarrassed about, not be embarrassed about being embarrassed. Just because in the end, you need to speak your truth because no one else can. And if you need help, if you need to reach out and know that somebody is listening. Exactly. Because I think that's we're almost knowing what happened with COVID and this reset that we have. I think people really understood how important we are to each other, and we can't just forget that lesson. Exactly. Okay, all the restaurants are open, let's move on.
Yeah.
We really need to hold on to that feeling of isolation and really build out that community and not feel so isolated anymore. Make sure that the next person that lives through what you lived through has that support that you wanted. And I think I always do I wish that was true. No, we need to do it. We need to go into our communities and create what we want in this life. Because every politicians are going to do what they want. Everybody's going to do what they want, but in the end, it's important to you and your family. And from that strength, build out and reach out to those around you, because we're all sometimes suffering in silence, and you don't know who you're going to touch and who's ready to hear that.
Yes.
And again, if you get some sort of backlash, if you get that some people aren't ready to hear you, that's cool. Don't take it personally. Thank you, goodbye.
Exactly.
And move on, because that person isn't ready, and it's okay to not be ready. It's okay to not be there or ready to listen to the change. And don't silence yourself because you get that negativity from people. Know what message you are trying to spread and what kind of community you want to create, and you will find that community. You'll find in the areas you least expect.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of poets when you're an engineer.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something that
poets love engineers.
It's something that people are creative. It doesn't matter. You don't label yourself. People are creative in everything that they do, and a creative person is gonna, there's an outlet for everybody. And just because you're not good at something doesn't mean that you're not good at everything. Yeah. You're gonna find something that you really love and that feeds energy back to you as well.
Solar energy.
You harness it.
That's right. Harness the power,
that's
people.
Final thoughts, again, just be true to who you are, and the community. You'll attract the community that really wants to build that with you. And the naysayers, eventually, either they, who cares about the naysayers?
Bye, chismosas.
Whatever that's not for you to worry.
Exactly.
You're to worry about your kids, worry about yourself, worry about your family around you, and what you want to see in this life, in this world. And you don't need to be an Instagram model for that. You can be you. And that's enough.
You're beautiful.
Unapologetically you.
Yes.
No, right?
Yeah.
Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, perfectly imperfect.
Your feelings are validated.
Preach, ladies,
Doesn't
preach.
matter.
You're going forever.
Yeah.
Your final thoughts are awesome.
All day long.
Yeah, and that's a hard lesson, and it's not, you have to practice it every day.
You guys need to hear this.
I'm good with myself now. I'm good. No, that's something you work every day towards.
It's
that's
hard,
right.
Because you'll somehow have your off days, And it's okay to have those off days as well. That
exactly.
you're working towards something that's you know you can live with for the rest of your life. You're creating a being that you're going to be okay. You're going to love seeing in the mirror. Not okay with. You're going to love seeing in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's right. Self-love.
This reminds me of Lean on Me, right? I don't know if you guys, I'm sorry, this is
I
an
love
old
Lean
song.
Lean on me.
For some of you young kids out there,
Copyright.
But, okay, but the song does say, you know, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. Right? And then so the whole point
I'll
is
help
also...
you carry on.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
So the whole thing was like, you know, when I'm feeling down, then you could be there to support me, and then same, right? You give back, and so I love that song, right? So
Yes.
we gotta leave on each other.
And if you're not strong enough to be able, like, to have say, you know what, I can't right now.
Exactly.
I'm
carrying
I'm
too
carrying
much.
too much. I have too many spoons in the pot, and if I add one more, it's going to throw me over. It's
Self-love.
okay for you to not be able to help somebody, and it's okay for you to help somebody, or say, like, no one's saying anything. You're like, wait, what about me? What about me? Like, again, there's all kinds of people. We need all kinds of people to create the society. It's not just one perfect type of citizen, which is
And to create art.
And to create art. Everybody sees something different, and no poet is better than the other. Everybody has a great story to tell out there, and it reaches people differently, you know? Like, it might touch somebody differently in every way, and again, it's just something for you to experience. You know, kind of sit back in that silence and just take it in. And we have to, you know, you don't have to do anything, but it's, you know, let's be open to that. Let's take that moment, because we deserve that time. We don't, we deserve more than that 30-second scroll, you know, because in the end, again, you're trying to build who you are.
So my final thoughts is, first of all, I would like to invite Jalen to come on in and say hello. This is my assistant. She's embarrassed, but this girl has been putting in a lot of work, helping me fold zines, set up the lives this whole week. She has worked really hard, and I'm very proud of her. And, you know, this is just, I'm so grateful for her. I'm grateful for the LA Poet Society and for this beautiful platform that they allowed me to use. And I'm, you know, if you guys didn't hear all this today, if you guys didn't have this positivity today, come back to this live, save it. And when you're having that bad day, that bad mommy day, that day that you all need that, like, little push, that little love, Christine and Yvonne told you guys all this. We had the most awesome final thoughts. And, you know, I love the way you ladies are incredibly intelligent, incredibly powerful, and you guys are such advocates for mental health, mental wellness in your home, in your work, in your careers, because we have our jobs and then we have our careers, right?
Yes.
So I'm very proud to be a part of this new podcast. Thank you guys, everybody. I appreciate each and everybody that's watching this live and everybody that's watching this on the replay. I want to thank everybody from Goth Girl Summer, Bonnie. I want to thank Millionaire Amor. She created a situation where we all met and connected. I want to thank Jessica Wilson and Carol Scott from the Los Angeles Poets for Justice. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful